learn to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming in at September 21st, 2020, and the stock market is going to go crazy because of something very political. Unfortunately and sadly, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away, but what this is going to mean now for the elections and how that relates to the market is going to be very, very important. So we are coming off of the Powell hangover last week. We have this kind of interesting piece of news that could make the markets more political, and then we have earnings right around the corner. So I hope you guys are ready, but we have a lot to go over. I got the plays, I got the keys, I got everything else that we're looking at for the rest of this week, so I hope you're ready. But let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's that first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free $99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/thestockmarket. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch list come to life. And yes, if you ever want to see some of the most intense games of Connect 4 while trading stocks live, we should see you there. And we love you. God bless you. And the most important thing you need to do, post or watch this below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. And please do not forget, today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday. This is our random account. So what we ask from everybody in the comment sections on these videos, post a random option play below. We are going to pick a random play up to $100, post the strike expiration, the ticker, and we are going to arbitrarily buy it. So this is the account. This is the performance. We started with that $500. It's done pretty good by the end of the year, so please and thank you for all the people who have participated. But right off the bat, we cannot forget kind of how we closed on Friday and what we're coming into, but that RBG passing, I think it could increase market volatility, but what it's going to do as far as the election, I think we're going to start seeing news, or there might be news literally right around the corner that could give us insights into how this is going to play out. So we have to watch that. We have to watch the Powell hangover from last week. But now, this point, remember, we talked about this cuckening. We've stayed in this range for September. But you take a look here, compare this to last week, we actually started going down. We hit a new low, but the velocity has changed. Stuff like the UVXY that we've been looking at, it actually went lower. So it's a pretty interesting dynamic here. We have to watch how this plays out. A lot of investors have the question on their mind, is it going to go lower? Is this kind of a election correction? Again, the performance in this next 3 months has a lot to do with the politics, but now that open Supreme Court justice seat is going to be very important. But as far as moving forward tomorrow, a lot of people are going to be looking, are we going to hit more new lows? But as you guys saw when we've been trading, it's not really about kind of these little lows, but really the speed. And if you see kind of a panic or more of a liquidation, we're kind of just even falling into a range as opposed to the market's just falling. So we have to watch out for that. However, watch for the down Friday, down Monday. We kind of now had a clear-cut red day on Friday. So if this Supreme Court news mixed with everything else kind of leads to a bad day tomorrow, then that will be interesting if we're at more lows. So it should be an exciting week. I hope you guys are ready, but there's still a few more things. Again, you're probably going to hear me talk about this a lot. This is a big deal, the RBG thing, but essentially now with this ability for Trump to appoint a Supreme Court seat, or if the next president will, again, there's going to be debates back and forth. This is going to really, really heighten the politics. If you guys thought it was already getting political before, you have not seen anything yet now. So that will have the potential to affect the market. So I will be watching that a lot this week. But finally, we did see more Oracle news, TikTok, all that over the weekend. But it seemed positive. They said that Trump said they gave the approval in theory or concept. However, I still think this is going to be a soft landing. Trump may approve a deal in theory, but it's not going to be the deal that the Chinese authorities had in place, again, and what they were doing. And then they're going to say, well, we're willing to make a deal now, but they're not going to make a deal. And then pretty much no ban will be made in the meantime. But we have seen the stocks kind of move a little bit less off the news. So that is something I'm going to be looking at tomorrow, is to see if we actually get a big move off of the news. If not, you might start seeing that soft landing effect come into play. Besides that, everything else for the rest of the week, there's not going to be too much economic data. I am going to be watching the bank stocks coming into the end of the month, and now that post-Fed hangover is still going to be effect, but also this week we are going to get Powell and Mnuchin before Senate, and they're going to comment on the CARES Act as well too. So I'm sure that will definitely have the ability to move the market, but I do want to see how some of this more political stuff develops. But those are going to be the main things. We have our work cut out for us this week. It should be exciting, but that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I do want to see how the market is going to develop. I have similar plays, I will say. Patience will be important, exercising patience. Again, watching the VIX and what that means to the option contracts. I think we're going to see deals on contracts with time, and this is what leads to probably what the main strategy will be moving this week and then coming into October. But look for the double whammy. You have earnings coming up. Earnings is right around the corner. Right now, you're getting this whipsaw action. The premiums aren't really moving, so try to think ahead a little bit. Again, if there is news events, you will be able to hit weeklies. If we do see velocity and things pick up, that is going to be kind of the plays I'm going to be looking at. So if there is any more new lows and it happens with more, again, velocity, I want to look for those rotation stocks. I'm going to look for McDonald's and HD on the put side. Again, only if there's really big velocity, but if it kind of moves slow, I'm not really going to touch these. And then if we do kind of see velocity, but that rotation effect come into play, I'm going to look for some of those winners that we pointed out a few weeks ago. So Target and Starbucks are some of those examples. So I'm going to be watching those on the call side. But that's why I'm saying watch out for patience here, because overall, if we don't get that much movement, you don't want to get calls and puts on both sides and then get clapped and end up overpaying, and then the market kind of stays in the same range or even lower. But if you bought far out the monies, it's not going to really work there. So the idea is kind of look for an event, and even with earnings, and now that's going to be the main play. I talked about this last week. We're going to kind of push this to the clock at the end of the month, but those bank strangles are really, unless there's other news that develops, we see how tomorrow plays out, the bank strangles are going to be key. Again, September 30th will be a pivotal day. The end of the month, we're going to find out if the banks can continue to pay dividends or if they have to continue to suspend them or not, and if they could do buybacks. So JP Morgan, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, all those, but the ones I like, JP Morgan, and then Citi and Wells Fargo on the downside, because I was thinking about this news. We will talk about this on stream, but it's not going to be just a broad winner or loser. I wouldn't be surprised to see some banks win and some lose, where they say, okay, this bank could do it, this bank can't. And then I think some of these bigger ones, we might see a little bit of a shift. So those are going to be the main plays. As far as everything else, I might go after NVIDIA again if there is. The question for me isn't going to be so much the stocks as much as it's going to be the velocity of the overall market, or if there's really going to be a reason causing it. But NVIDIA could be good. Again, they have been kind of releasing those products, and we've been hearing news, but the market, again, across the board on Friday, it was kind of hard to find some clear winners. So even though there was some good news the other days, NVIDIA is kind of looking like the rest of tech, but watch HD, McDonald's. Keep a close eye on USO. Again, they had that bigger bounce there. How that oil news develops will be important, so I'm watching out for that. But the premiums have kind of stayed up in that case, so watch them. Again, Oracle, Walmart, all those. I think Oracle or Walmart, will be the biggest winner. If Oracle actually starts to sell off or go up again, that will kind of give confirmation of, okay, maybe this deal might go through. But again, told you guys my stance on that. But watch them, the banks, again, Starbucks and Shopify, like I'm saying, these were kind of some of the ones that were already struggling to begin with. Again, they haven't gone past those 2020 highs, or Target has. So again, finding both the laggers and leaders, but lately they've kind of been these rotational targets. So these are two that we've liked. We've talked about them, but if you guys have any other ones, post them below. And then finally now, this is where I think the RBG stuff is going to come into play, but also this week with Mnuchin and Powell, I want to see if the dollar starts to move here, because this has been a pretty weird Fed reaction for the dollar to kind of stay stable following it. So now things start to get politically heated. Watch UUP, not for a play, but watch the value of the dollar to change things, and if that could lead to something. But the month is almost ending. October should get exciting, and this is some crazy type, and it seems like the Freaky Friday could extend to a freaky end of the month. So I hope you guys are ready, but that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. Don't forget, waiting is a weapon. Don't get too jumpy. Balance the budget. Balance the books. Get ready to strike. Spreads and events. Earnings is around the corner. But the goal loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the morning. Let's go.